Our Obsidian Flame PCTP sales are picking up, so Paldea and Obsidian Flames both had a similar sort of trajectory where about the beginning of about 30 days ago, they had some buyouts, which raised the price. And then they're like at the beginning of, believe it or not, like according to this, like beginning, it was about 400, like $400, $500 about a month ago. And then between stagnant, you see like the no demand, and you see a big spike the other day as people thought it was too cheap, and then after that we're continuing to see more sales. Paldea, similar trend, where you see a little like more sales pick up. It was cheaper, and then it picks up, and there's a big delay. So Paldea also had the big spike a few days ago on September 10th, but no boxes have sold since then. I think it's probably because Paldea is a little more expensive. There's one cheaper one over here. I talked about this in the previous video. Like the buyout made it so like a lot of the boxes like under around $700 were bought out, and so this is cheap. Otherwise, it is going back to about 800. Versus Stadium Flames, just has a more boxes at the cheaper price, see like 700, 715, 720. So it's just like a little more quantity. So if you just buy it out a little more slowly, you will get cheaper PCTBs. I also think that we're at the point where the set is starting to affect the prices. We all know Paldea Evolved is like super high, and Obsidian Flames isn't quite as good with set. I think it's like the third after Destin Rao is probably like the third most expensive, something like that. And so you know, at some point, like people are gonna want Paldea Vault over Obsidian Flames just for the cards. Um, but yeah, that's for those two PCTBs, and with the Scarlet base PCTBs, like they had the big buyout like the other day on September 7th. This one, the Maridon one, still hasn't really had any sales since then. It's just hovering around $500, but the Coridon one has finally had some sales. It had like one sale September 10th, one on September 11th, and they sold for about like 440. So it is kind of maintaining some of its price points. Like the highest that it was actually officially sold for is 500, and so people are still like actually like accepting this sort of price point right now. I think it's also just because it's a little cheaper, and people have been saying that the SC based PCTs are really rare. They were the original. Probably less people collect them, and there's actually only two more around 440, and then it goes back to about $500. Twilight ETBs have gone up about $40. So have been getting a lot of comments about the Twilight PCTBs, and yeah, they are rising. So no one has officially bought it yet, but when you look at here, the normal price is around 200 to 210. Maybe last one was 215. If I take 210, right now it's at 250. So like these have been bought out enough to rise the price to about 250 right now. Surging Sparks also has been having really good sales. Sells pretty much every day. Sold three yesterday, and yeah, it's been around 310. And I just think that like with that amount of demand, like we're just clearly gonna see like 330, 340 come up as like go down. You see like the more expensive PCTBs, and pretty much everyone on this page only has one. So that's also another good sign. It's not that hard to buy it out. Only this seller over here has two PCTBs. Shroud Fable kind of there was a big buyout as well at the same time that the SV based one happened on September 7th. And it rose like 300 or something. Like I think listed, you see they're actually still for 400. Otherwise, the highest sale is about 250. Before that, the price was around like 140 to like 150, let's say even 160. So at this current price, it's kind of already dropped back down. There's only one of them at that price, and it goes to 175 to 180. Like the price is more toward like 175 to 190. So like it hasn't really gone up very much since then. There were a few sales and whatever, but yeah, I mean it's like night and day. Like SC base, very original before the hype was all around. Shadow Fable was on Pokemon Center was like the last PC to be available, and so it's just like not as surprising that I kind of recovered back. And then these sets, Paradox hasn't had much activity. You see, last couple of days, no sales. The other Paradox one also not that many sales, especially like ever since August 29th, pretty much zero sales since then. The Temporal Forces, it sells like every now and then, but every few days, but hasn't any sales last couple of days. Walking Wake had one today, but yeah, very sporadic sales. And then Stellar Crown also doesn't. It's a little better than some of them, but it's also very slow as well. All right, for Sword and Shield, you see Fusion Strike sales really pick up again. So it's kind of slow and steady, but yeah, Fusion Strike had this really long breakout sales. Like And pretty much starting September, didn't have a lot of sales. It finally sold to around September 5th and 6th. Other than that, it's pretty much like a whole like 9 days of having sales. Then we started seeing four sold on September 10th. We see two sold today, and there's still like about the same number of boxes under 1100. It's just slowly shrinking. It's about I think 11 now. I think I counted earlier. It's about 10. So 11 boxes under 1100. But these two are 10 65, so it could even rise to there a little bit. But you're seeing a little more interest in Fusion Strike. It just never quite fully dies down, so don't be surprised if there's a little bit of a run for there. That compared to Lost Origin, Lost Origin keeps like retracing back. Like it has had like semi-steady sales, took a little bit of a break, but the number of boxes that Lost Origin has on number of sellers trying to sell them is quite a lot. Like I can't even see like the 900 one anymore. It goes up to 850 over here, and so the number of sellers isn't that's the number of boxes isn't always a lot because a lot of these only have one or two. So it says two, 1 2 3 4 5 6, so that's 8, and that's about 12. So it's still now it has more boxes than Fusion Strike that until it reaches the next price point is by like 12 or 13. So yeah, Lost Origin doesn't quite have the same momentum as Fusion Strike at the moment. Astral Radiance rose to 425. So I've been calling this out for a while, especially yesterday. I was like, hey, the pricing is getting enough that it's probably going to rise pretty soon. So you see that Astral Radiance is up $14. Silver Tempest is down 25. I'll get that to a sec. Battle Styles and Evolving Skies are down about 6. Lost Origins down about 3. But yeah, Astral Radiance is a pretty obvious sort of thing. So two sold yesterday. Kind of has sporadic sales, but if you look at the price ladder, it just has a great price ladder. Like there's only 2 boxes below 450, 3 boxes below 480, and then we're not that far from 500. So I wouldn't be surprised just based on the price point. Like 425 isn't that bad of a deal, and other boxes like the price of booster box is so expensive that like a super old set like this, not the worst in the world, is like okay, yeah, you can pay 425 for that possibly. Silver Tempest, the price did go down about $25, so one sold today. It's although I keep saying this of a lot of Sword and Shield boxes, it's like a majority of sellers will want to sell for the higher price. So a lot of these are still $495. There's just 2 sellers selling for about this is really cheap, $450, and then this one over here is about $480. But I'll see this happen, and this is a sign that it's not necessarily a sign that Silver Tempest is really gonna go down much. Like in the long run, like even the short long run, I mean, I guess that's a contradiction, but I mean, like, it's not like a bunch of sellers have a ton of quantity they're trying to offload. It's just like 1 or 2, but like a majority of the sellers like, nope, I'm gonna keep at this price. If you don't buy, whatever. Versus like Brilliant Stars has a little bit more quantity here, so this is a little like weaker. But yeah, Brilliant Stars also had more sellers for a while that were under about 600. Now it's getting a little better, but there's a little more quantity over here, and then you can see that the demand for Brilliant Stars hasn't been very much at all. Like ever since August 27th, like it's sold like barely any boxes in this whole run. Versus Silver Tempest has sold pretty much every day. Just takes like a 1 day break. It finally had 2 days without any sales. But Silver Tempest looks way stronger in terms than way stronger in terms of like potential than Brilliant Stars right now in terms of like rising. Chilling Rain is, I mentioned this before, how it's sort of recovering back towards 600. So not quite 600, but yeah, it went as cheap as like 500 for 1 day. Just sells every few days. Can't quite keep it down, so it's back around 580. Evolving Skies is at 2700 right now. It sold 1 box yesterday for about 2700, and that's kind of like, honestly, look at the last recent sales. Like we finally had some 2800 sales, and then now we're going back to 2700. And the supply that we're seeing is that there's 2 of them for 2700, and there's a couple of 2750. Right now we're stuck between the 2700 to sort of mark right now. There's enough sellers wanting to sell in that price range. Everyone only has 1 box, and so we'll kind of see. But supply is getting a little more for Evolving Skies. Battle Style is still around the same price. I think it dropped like $6. So no box sold after that big buyout. Unsurprisingly, people tend to at least wait a day. But there's only two boxes there. It goes back to 310. Still eyeing things like 330 to be honest. It'd be really funny if it surpasses like Astral Radiance. Vivid Voltage has had no sales since. So actually, let me double. Sometimes the graph is broken. Okay, yeah, no sales since September 8th. I've been hearing a lot of talk about the amazing rares, like the Rayquaza. It's actually the second most expensive card in the set now, which is funny. But yeah, no sales recently, so it's been pretty stagnant. And the first three boxes are just stagnant, like no sales at all. All right, Scarlet base is heading toward 250, so it's up about $1, but there's only one box left until 250. So this is one of the obvious things that are gonna rise as time goes on. In April, it's gonna go out of rotation. People are gonna start buying more Scarlet base. A lot of people, I do think, want like at least one box just in case. Just hedging the bets a little bit, diversifying. So we'll kind of see how that goes. There's no sales for 2 days, but one did sell today. Paldea Evolved has seen a little more supply. So yesterday when I checked, there wasn't a lot of supply available. RG breaks his back. They put a whole case. They put 6. It'd be pretty cool if like that was actually a case. Then you get that'd be a pretty cheap case. Full Moon Games over here has 4. Ghastly Ashley over here has 4. So just a little more supply to keep the price kind of low for a while. So we might be on another sort of like stagnation period for Paldea Evolved until enough supply gets spawned out at this price point. It's really expensive. So unsurprisingly, Obsidian Flames doesn't look too strong right now. So sold 1 yesterday, and the price kind of keeps dropping. Now it's at like 325. Just struggling to make any real progress, to be honest. Moby's Corner has 10 over here, and yeah, with this Moby's Corner thing, like I've been noticing, like it's been adding like a lot of supplies to a lot of the boxes for Paradox as well. You see 15-year, like it's one of the main reasons why Paradox hasn't really risen past 260, because there's just no, like, people are looking at this as like, oh, if I buy a lot it'll go to 270, but no, that doesn't happen because there's like 15 boxes over here. So Paradox sold 2 yesterday, and the price is still standing at 260. So I did open up Moby's Corners. So I think I sorted by Pokemon and they actually have a lot of stuff. I saw like a Moby's Corner with like more stars and stuff and more seller. I feel like it's the same seller, I'm guessing. I haven't done my research on this at all. But yeah, they do influence a lot of the market. They actually have a lot of the old stuff. Fusion Strike, there's Astral, Obsidian. So like yeah, I keep seeing it in so many listings. I'm like, oh, like I remember the Joining Together box. Like it definitely had a bunch of listings. So it keeps like keeping the boost box market down by putting up so many boxes at once. So yeah, I just had to check it out finally. Temporal Forces, yeah, it's still around 250, so one sold today. And you just keep seeing the same pattern. There's always like a seller or two trying to sell for around like actually I guess that's like 258. But like just trying to sell at these lower prices. But a lot of the prices are really stagnant now around 260, unfortunately. And there's like 10 boxes over here from Crusty Crab cards, which also doesn't make the price rise. Twilight sold 0 yesterday, but it's still not too far away from 325. But Moby's Corner, yeah, again, like this is a Moby's Corner video. Like the price is not too far from rising, but Moby's Corner really is keeping the price down, and so is Drew's Gaming Galaxy. So Twilight just has so much like supply, even compared to Paldea. Stellar Crown still around 250, sold 0 yesterday, and one box, like 2 boxes until it goes back to 252, just trying to get back to 255. Surging Sparks, I had someone comment saying like this price is the direct buy TCG sellers. Yeah, I'm just gonna guess maybe that's true or whatever. But yeah, Devastation over here has 40. But yeah, because I use this price over here, so yeah, if that's not accurate, sometimes that's gonna cause issues. And then Devastation over here is 40. So also like there's just too much supply of Surging Sparks. It means that it's available for cheap. If you can find anyone that sells you these for like, like the normal 80-85%, even maybe 90% market price, it'd be a pretty good pickup because it's really cheap right now. That wraps things up for this video. I hope you walked away with a better understanding of the market. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more deep dives in the Pokemon market. Tell me what's the next big investment you're considering in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all later.